Hi, welcome to D Too Much, a series that I do on my channel where I just talk about stuff that I randomly want to talk about. And today I do want to talk about all the stuff that I want to do for 2025 along with the goals and like stuff like that. Starting off with the reflection from 2020, not 2025, 2024. It was a pretty good year in regards to like business itself and to like art. I made a lot of artwork that I was really happy about because they're artworks that I feel like got that like kind of I don't know what I would call it, like reflective, somber type of vibe that I wanted in my artwork. So I got artworks, or I made artworks that reflected that. The first collection for the year was the Lost Lovers collection. Truthfully, I really should have like put more work into that one. I did think about that collection like way like a couple months before I even started it, but when I actually went around to start it, I just couldn't find the right inspiration for that one. I love the artworks in that one too because they have like that very warm but kind of sad type of vibe to it. I'll show you the artworks right now. I don't know if you'll probably get what I mean, but they do have like that warmness to it that has like a sad edge to it. The thing is just how with that artwork or collection, I just couldn't like, once I actually started doing that, I just couldn't like get into it as I wanted to. Halfway through working on that collection, I really just didn't want to do it no more. That's why I ended up only doing 2 artworks with it, because those 2 artworks were almost already done anyways. It was easier to finish them off since they were almost already done when that like lack of motivation, or it wouldn't be motivation, it would be lack of inspiration came around. So I had a specific theme or a theme idea with that collection, but like, the theme that I was going for just kind of got lost, which I'm really sad about because the idea I had for that collection was really one that I actually really liked. If you don't know, because I don't remember if I said it in my art collection video for that one, it was supposed to be around the idea of like love a little bit, like a kind of somber love, the idea of like feeling or longing for like somewhere to be, either that being like with like a person or actual place, just like that feeling of longing. So hence why the artworks do have that underlining sadness to it. It's supposed to be like around that type of thing, but like I said, really couldn't like get into it, and I really couldn't like hone in on what I was trying to do with that artwork or art collection. So it just kind of became a little bit scattered than I meant it to be. So yeah, that was the first art collection. Honestly though, I did really like those artworks too because they're artworks that I didn't expect myself to come up with. Especially with the Lost Goddess one, that one was really surprising for me to see. It's kind of a little bit different from my usual artworks, just a little bit. I did spend like, I don't remember how many days I spent on that, but I did spend a while on that one. Artwork took a little bit while, but it was the most surprising one that I ended up making this year. I like the artworks, I just don't like how I lacked inspiration when I did it. At the very least, that collection just kind of showed me my work process, showed me how quickly my inspiration for stuff can go down if I don't have like the right inspiration for to like keep that ideas going basically. So yeah, that was the first art collection of the year. That one came out on February 1st, which again, it was probably like kind of pushing it because I didn't really give myself enough time to actually figure out what exactly it was going to be. That's why this year I didn't do like a Valentine's Day collection or anything like that, just because I didn't want to like get trapped in that same process of having a lack of motivation and stuff like that. Moving on to the next collection. The next collection was my Hidden in the Monday collection. That one, it was originally going to be my spring collection. I don't know why I ended up deciding that I wanted to make it like a spring summer collection. I think if I remember right, it was because my summer collection, when I was thinking about my summer collection around the time my spring collection was being worked on, I realized that I really didn't have anything for a summer collection. Like I had like a vague theme that was supposed to be centered around water, in a way like a dreamscape water type of theme. I just couldn't like figure out like what exactly I wanted to do with that one. So instead of trying to like force myself to have a summer collection, I ended up deciding that I was going to do a summer spring collection. That is how the Hidden and Mundane art collection developed. The artworks are supposed to be originally supposed to be in the Hidden and Monday collection were Din Vale, Catchy Flowers, and of course Hidden and Mundane artwork. That was the artwork I used for the promotion. But then when I decided to read Summer into this, I ended up making, I think it was the 200 years artwork and the Sun Seeking Moon. So altogether that's like 6 or 7. I think it's 7 artworks. I don't know, I wasn't really counting. And then once I had all those artworks, there were ones that I really did like. There were ones that I wanted to make other stuff for. So for this collection, because I had a feeling that this collection was going to be my biggest collection of the year, so I did put more time and energy into it. This collection really fed into that dreamy, almost like longing type of distant feel with nature that I really wanted to do for my artworks. Yeah, Hidden the Mundane was definitely my favorite to do. It was the one that I was most excited to do, and it was also the one that I put a lot of products towards. So instead of just doing like my basic stuff like the art prints, stickers, cards, I also did some more stationery, so like the memo pads and the notepads. I think it was just notepads that I did for this one. Notepads, because I was just doing what I could. Magnets, and for the first time since like 2 years, I think it was, I actually got some more pins. I was really happy to get those ones because I just really wanted to do like pins for a while now, but I didn't know which artwork to do pins for, because pins, I kind of decided to be picky with my pins because I really didn't want to like get stuck with like a whole bunch of pins and charms again. So I decided to be like really picky. So I ended up choosing my 200 years artwork and my Sunflower Dream artwork to be pins, because those ones were ones that I felt were in a neutral, in a sense. They were nature based, and they're like ones that had like that dreamy vibe, but they didn't like lean too far into like a different type of art style or like a different type of theme to it. It was kind of like a neutral one, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, it was not too heavy on symbolism. There's not like heavy symbolism in it. And after my Hidden and Mundane art collection, I decided to not really do any more art collections for the rest of the year. I did do like a mini collection for Halloween, but the thing is with the Halloween, it was the same thing. I didn't really feel inclined to make Halloween artwork this year. I just really wasn't in the mood for it that much as I thought it would be. Yeah, I just couldn't really like hone down on like a theme I wanted to do. The thing is that with the mini collection, it was kind of partially influenced by Halloween, but then it also had like a wintry feel to it. So it was kind of like Hidden and Mundane, where I kind of ended up mixing 2 seasons together. This time it was unintentional because I really didn't mean for like this mini art collection to actually mix the 2 a little bit. Originally I was just gonna go with like a more somber Halloween type of theme, and the 2 artworks in this one were Not My Hands and Lightbringer. With Not My Hands, you can kind of see what I mean when I said I wanted the more somber Halloween, where it's not like a full-on anything spooky or like scary dealing with it. It's more like a look at psychological stuff, because this artwork I did with the idea of derealization. That's what I was kind of going for this artwork. And so like I was thinking about doing more psychological stuff with horror and like spooky stuff and like stuff like that. But then like the thing is that when I did this artwork, it was in July, and after I finished it, I had to kind of take a break, because I took a break during the summer, like a really long break. There were themes that were kind of not making me motivated to do stuff. By the time I went back to my Halloween theme, it just didn't have like that Halloween mood that I wanted. Plus I was also kind of already thinking about Christmas, because I didn't have anything for Christmas either, or the holidays, because I didn't have anything new for the holidays either. So making stuff for Halloween was not something that I really wasn't in the mood for. So what ended up happening is that I did want to release something before October, and I just had the Not My Hands artwork. So I ended up making Lightbringer, and that was an artwork that I was holding on to for a while. It was one that I wanted to do for a couple months, so I decided just to do it. And that's how come this mini art collection ended up having this. It was a season that didn't really match up, because Not My Hand does have like that more fall Halloween vibe to it a little bit with the colors and like how I designed it, whereas Lightbringer has more of that wintry loneliness to it. That one, like I said, it was unintentionally mixing 2 seasons, which I'm not mad about. I wasn't going to release anything during the last few months anyway. So I was just happy that I ended up having 2 artworks that I really did like, because I really do like these 2 artworks too. So yeah, those are the collections that I did for this year, or it will be 2024. Those are the collections for 2024. Mainly it was just one big main collection and 2 mini collections really. But for 2025, I'm not really gonna focus so much on collections. I'm gonna take this year to focus on making new artworks and just releasing them whenever I finish them. Okay, so the next thing was that I wanted to go over 2024 in general and like accomplishments basically, because there was a lot of stuff that, well, not a lot of stuff, there was like a couple of stuff that I was really happy I did this year, besides like making new artworks and having artworks that I actually like having around. The biggest one was the Muchida, because that was the first time selling at the Muchida, and I was really excited about that. I was also like really nervous about that. It was a bigger vendor event that I was used to, because before that I only did like 2 or 3 vendor events, and they were just like really small ones where there wasn't anybody coming around to my table constantly. So like I can have like the first couple of vendor events I had like big stretches of time where it was just nobody at my table. So the Muchida was different, a lot more different than the first vendor events, because there was always somebody at my table for like most of the day. I ended up doing it on a whim, I believe. I don't remember why I decided to do it. I just decided to do it, and I did not really like plan to do it. So like I didn't have any like inventory stocked up, didn't even have my tent ready, like anything like that, like that I would need. I didn't have any of that stuff. I just like applied and then figured it out everything else after, which probably wasn't the best thing. But the thing is that my dad was helping me with stuff, especially with getting stuff for me that I couldn't like really get, like the tent. So I'm really happy about that and really grateful for that, because I didn't even think about the tent or getting a tent until like the very last minute. So I'm really happy that he even thought of it before I could. So I spent like the last, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks. It was not even that. It was like 2 weeks, honestly, because I procrastinated a lot, like struggling to like get my inventory up, because I did not have like a lot of inventory. Up till then, most of my stuff was made to order, and yeah, it was just a lot. But like with that, I'm really happy that I did that, because I was like really tired after, like really tired. That was one of the reasons why I ended up taking a really long break during the summer, is because when I was done with the Muchida, I was just like mentally exhausted, and like I didn't really think that was gonna happen, but it did. It just really wore me out, like really bad. Plus it didn't help that that Friday was raining and like windy, and that it really just wore me out more than I wanted it to, I was expecting. So overall with the Muchida, I'm really happy I did decide to do it, because it was one of those things that really expanded my audience a lot, because before it wasn't, my audience in regards to like online wasn't really active. When I did the Muchida, that's when I started noticing that more people were noticing my stuff, which made me really happy. I just really am glad that I decided to do that. So yeah, I would consider the Muchida a pretty big accomplishment for 2024. It just made a lot of things come together. Plus, like I said, it was a pretty big fair, so I got to meet a lot of people. I was in a comfortable spot that I felt like I could handle. It did cause me to spend more time with my family, so that was very happy for me. I also got to meet other vendors there, which was really nice, because that was like the actual first time I actually got a chance to meet with other vendors around me. But I'm not really someone who was like really confident enough to just walk up to other people that much. So I was really grateful that other vendors came up to me first. I am kind of shy, like it's just kind of like a struggle for me to actually push myself to talk to other people, especially like go up to them. So I'm really happy that they did first. And that is something that I'm trying to like grow out of, and it's like a subcategory of one of my goals this year, like a personal goal really. Overall, Muchida was great. It was the thing that really made me a little bit more confident to actually do more vendoring events, because that one was my biggest one. So I figured that if I could do that one, I could do like more smaller ones. So moving on from that, I think the next, I don't even know if there's other accomplishments or achievements that I did for 2024. I guess, yeah, I forgot about that. I did publish a book. Well, not publish. I did self-publish a book which I'll show the cover for it right now on the screen. And that one was something that I've been wanting to do for like years, like almost like, I don't even know, I was gonna say like a decade. I will probably say a decade. Like having an actual book that I made with words and all that stuff, that's something that I've been wanting to do. And I'm happy that I finally got to do it. And it's filled with some poetry that I did throughout 2024 that center around the idea of a void and like what's in a void and all that stuff. That is something I'm also really proud of, and I'm hoping to make another poetry book this year, but I'm still kind of working on it, so I gotta like accumulate poetry in order to do that. So that was another thing that I was really happy about and I feel accomplished about for 2024. I don't know if there's any other accomplishments that I did this year. Well, okay, it's more of a personal one that accomplished. It was in June, right? That's when the Ghost movie came out. June was when the Ghost movie came out, right here, right now. And I was really excited for it because I do love ghosts a lot. So the movie, of course, I was going to be really excited for. And I did want to dress up for it. It was just for the theater, but I still wanted to dress up for it just to kind of make the day more memorable for me. So I chose to wear a dress. I did decide to dress up, which that one was a lot for me to do because I don't really like just dress up for anything unless I have a reason to, like an event or something like that. But dressing up just because I wanted to dress up is a lot. It's something that I never really done before, so I was kind of nervous to do that just because I was getting in my own head about dressing up for something that really we don't really need to dress up for. But I did dress up and I'm really happy that I did because I just felt, I was gonna say comfortable, but it's not really comfortable, more like more happy that I allowed myself to express myself. So that one was more of a personal goal. I didn't really get any good pictures because I wasn't the one who took pictures, so I didn't really get a chance to like get a picture that I wanted. Plus, the theater that we went to didn't have the ghost poster up. Regardless, dressing up just for dressing up was really nice, and it was something that is another thing that made me a little bit more comfortable dressing up the way I want to dress up. And then like it's more of a mundane goal. It's not really like that important. But I finally, towards the end of the year, finally started getting out of that that very long period of unmotivation because that summer break really just threw off my motivation for a lot of stuff. And I just did not feel like doing anything after that. And plus, like I said, mentioned before, there's a lot of stuff that were kind of unmotivating me to do stuff. Like some of the stuff was like, the room that I used to film in was like super hot during the summer. So like I did not feel motivated to do any videos. And every time I tried to edit a video, my files kept getting corrupted. So that made me less motivated to do stuff. You know, it was just stuff like that that really just kind of piled on me that made me less motivated to do stuff. But when November came, I will say November, October, probably like late October, when late October came, that's when I started seeing myself starting to get out of that unmotivated phase, which I was really happy about. And I'm not really sure if I would count it as an accomplishment, but I am just going to count it as one just because it really was a long break. But other than that, I don't know if there's like any other big big accomplishment that I can remember. So yeah, that was it for like accomplishments. So I guess I'll go into goals. So I kind of broke up my goals into like 3 parts. The first one is going to be for art and business specifically, and then the second one is going to be for journaling and reading. And the third one is going to be for like personal goals. I just made goals for each of my Instagram accounts. That was the easiest way to figure out how I was going to do this and to kind of break up what I wanted to do, because I was kind of like I wasn't really sure what type of goals I wanted to do for this year. So for reading and journaling, I put read more Indigenous authors, which that is something I do want to do. I do have like a couple books from Indigenous authors on my bookshelf, but I want to read more, especially in horror. So that is something I'm going to try to do. And I already have like 3 authors or 3 books that I'm thinking about picking up soon. I wouldn't say soon, actually. I'll probably say like within like a couple months. So yeah, that is one goal. And then another goal is to journal weekly. In 2024, I realized that I wasn't journaling as much as I would have liked to. So I decided that for this year I'm going to try to journal at least once a week. So basically I was just going to do like a just journal. Doesn't really matter what the length is as long as I journal somewhere. So I might just journal like a couple of lines in a page or do like a full on journal spread. But the point is that I want to at least journal weekly somehow, some way. Doesn't really matter if it's like writing or like actually like doing scrapbooking or something like that. It just, as long as I journal, I'll be happy. And then the biggest reading goal for this year was to read 150 books. That's a lot, I know it is. I just put it high just because I just like putting my reading goals high like that for some reason. I don't know. I kind of doubt I'll actually read 150 books. I did already finish one book. I finished Discovering Christian Witchcraft like a couple weeks ago. So I feel like that's a good sign that I might read a decent amount of books this year. And then I also wanted to do more journaling videos. Journal with me videos. Basically time-lapse videos where I do journaling. Of my videos, that one is one of the ones that I haven't been doing that much lately, which I'm really sad about because I do like doing journal with me videos a lot. So yeah, I do want to start redoing that again. I also want to do more reading vlogs. I did start doing reading vlogs, but I haven't been filming that much reading specifically, so I do want to start doing that. I know for sure the next reading vlog is going to be a TBR update, so that one should be easy, so hopefully that will be up pretty soon. So that was the reading and journal goals. And then the next goals are personal goals. So these ones are really straightforward because they don't really have like anything extra to them. So the first one is get back into yoga. I haven't done yoga in a while, or at least the very least I want to do is stretching and start stretching again. But yeah, I put that just because I haven't done that for a while. I also want to take more pictures. Pictures are another stuff that I haven't been doing as much lately, and I really just haven't been thinking about taking pictures that often as I wanted to, just because it wasn't really something that crossed my mind. But I do want to take more pictures this year so that I have a more complete timeline of stuff. And then the third one is to understand tarot cards more. That one, I just want to understand them a little bit better so that I can read them better when I pull them out for myself. The fourth one is to talk less negatively to myself. I noticed that I was starting to do that again, especially towards the second half of the year. So I really want to keep an eye on that too, just to make sure it doesn't get to a point where it like affects me mentally. So I put that as my goal so that I was aware of it. And then the last personal one is to be expressive of myself. And then the next section is for art and business goals. So for the first one for that is to do another poetry book, which that one is pretty straightforward. I already mentioned that I wanted to do that again. On the second one is to grow my audience. That one I've been struggling a lot to do recently. Well, not recently, for like the past 4 years. It's not really something that I've struggled. It's more like I wasn't really paying attention to it as much as I was, because I was mostly focused on just building up my business itself with like artworks and like just focusing on my products and stuff like that. But now at the moment I have artworks that I like, I have products that I like doing, so I really don't have to focus on them that much anymore like I did in the past years. I do want to shift my energy into focusing on my audience itself, hence why I opened like a Patreon and why I've been doing more vendoring events, just because that is like my way of trying to like for me to like focus on my audience more. But I do want to do more stuff in order to focus on my audience and like hone my audience to figure out where they are and like, just basically kind of honing in my branding, which is the next point, which is understand branding. So branding and audience are two things that are working together because they are things that affect one another. Hopefully that makes sense, but that's kind of like the mindset of what's going for. And the fourth one is to create more traditional art. With traditional art, I don't dive into it as much just because I feel a little bit antsy about making original artworks. I'm going to try to make more original artworks this year and start using like the art material that I have. The fifth one is to do more non-vlog videos. It's just one of those things that I noticed where 2024 was mostly filled or my channel was mostly filled with vlogs, and there's no like real reason for it. I just want to do non-vlog videos and to kind of break up my vlogs a little bit. Those are the main goals that I chose for this year. So the final section is thinking about 2025. So overall 2025, I want it to be, I'm not really sure how I want it to be. I want it to be something like expanding, I guess I would say. I think that's what I'm trying to go for. I don't know, but 2025, I definitely want to write more. So hopefully I can expand into more different types of writing. And another thing that I wanted to do for 2025 is to figure out a way to make some of my artworks more 3D like. That was something my dad mentioned. I mean, he specifically mentioned dolls because he said that I was thinking about finding ways to make some of my artwork more 3D like, and I have some ideas on how I'm going to do that, but I'm not really going to share them yet just because I still have to figure it out. As of right now, I do not have any collections figured out for this year like I mentioned before, but there's a chance that I might do a collection for this year. It depends how I feel really. Overall, 2025 is just basically playing it by ear. I'm kind of not really planning that much for it, but there's also some stuff that I am going to be doing. Other people requested, some people requested that I do postcards. I am working on postcards, which I'm really excited about. I am doing that right now. I already have the designs, I just need to order them. So yeah, postcards are going to be coming. And then certain artworks that people were asking for, specifically for birds. A lot of people were asking for birds last year. And I don't really, I mean, I do like drawing birds, but the thing is that when I draw birds, they're more surreal. They're not actually focused on a particular bird unless it's a phoenix. But even then, whenever I draw phoenixes, they're really surreal a little bit. This year, I am going to try to focus on drawing like actual birds that people wanted, because I had people ask me if I had any not cardinal birds, because I had people ask me if I had any roadrunners or like quail birds, which those ones are ones that I want to do, but I didn't have them at the time. Definitely gonna do more bird artworks. And then of course the Patreon is still up. I'm gonna start posting like extra vlogs just for Patreon. It's not gonna be like a monthly thing, just whenever I have vlogs to post, because every once in a while I do end up with the vlog that is kind of not up to date. Like the footage is still good, but I just don't really feel like posting it anymore. So I usually just let it be and like delete the footage. If I end up with vlog footage that I never really posted, I'm just gonna share it with my Patreons. I end up doing extra videos too, but I haven't really decided yet. So all the tiers are gonna be able to see the vlog. But yeah, that's another thing that I was thinking about doing this year, just so that I don't delete footage that I might want to look back on. This year I am going to be releasing more coloring stuff. Again, that is more of a Patreon thing. So anyways, that is pretty much it. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a nice day, morning, or night. Bye. Later.